I'm Ryan.
And we are on board Norwegian Cruise Line's Pride of America.
So, welcome to Hawaii. We are in Hawaii currently.
Aloha.
Aloha. And we're going to be showing you all kinds of things about this because this is a very unique product, as most of you probably already know.
Or you may not know. I mean, I kind of look at it as a floating hotel for Hawaii. It's a little bit different than cruise lines typically offer as far as amenities, activities, things like that. So we're going to explore all of that.
Exactly. And it being a U.S. flagship, everything is all intercoastal Hawaii, or we call it intercoastal. So that way you don't have to go and take the puddle jumpers back and forth between all the islands. You do it all here in your one stop, unpack once.
Stay on board. You don't have to worry about all the different tiny planes to get from island to island, and you have overnight stays.
Exactly. And if you're a photographer like me, you don't have to worry about weight restrictions because you can bring it all on the cruise ship and then just bring up what you need for each different stop that you want to go to.
Yeah, but we're going to take you on a tour.
Yes.
We're going to show you some of the different decks that there are, the different things that are on each deck. What else?
We're going to show dining.
Yep.
We will have a special guest come on board to talk. It's funny, I say come on board, but come on camera.
Come on camera. She's already on board.
Exactly. So the special guest will be one of the, actually the food and beverage director, right?
Yes.
F&B director. And also my wife is actually on board with us. She has celiac disease, so she's going to be able to talk to you all about how the ship is handling celiacs for her. And then the F&B director will talk about it. So kind of that part of it for dining. And then what else we have on?
Oh my gosh, we're going to show you some of the different activities, some of the different excursions that we're doing, but really it's designed for you to understand what your clients are going to experience when they're on board, because it is a little bit different. So we want you to fully understand so that you're at your best to be able to sell it to them.
Exactly. Now this ship was built in 2005. A little bit of a unique story behind it because it is a U.S. flagship, so it has to have all, I think it's 75% U.S. steel that needs to actually be made of the ship itself, and then the rest of it was finished out in Germany before it came back here as the only, we'll say cruise ship, because it's a full-size cruise ship, because of course you have the Mississippi River products, American Cruise Line products, which are more of those intercoastal waterways across the East Coast and that kind of stuff, but this is actually a true cruise ship. Of size and everything.
And that's what makes it so special, because it doesn't have to go into international waters. On top of the 70-75% steel, it's also 70-75% crew has to be American as well, because it does stay within the islands of Hawaii.
Exactly.
But what that means is your clients don't have to do a 12-14 night cruise because they have to come from California. They can fly straight into Hawaii, 7 nights around the islands, 1 to 2 overnight stays. It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it that way.
Exactly. It's a really good value added amenity, we'll call it, because it's a U.S. flagship, not having to have that Vancouver or out of Mexico to come up to be able to comply with the Jones Act, which is the Jones Act is that you have to hit a foreign port. You can't be all in the United States territories unless you have a U.S. flagship.
Yeah, now one of the things that you do want to know for your clients is, because it is staying within U.S. ports pretty much the entire time, taxes work a little bit different when you're on board. So there is no duty free, because we do not go to international waters. There's no casino,
right?
Because we don't hit international waters.
Right.
But one of the things you really want to make sure to tell your guests is that when you're on board, if you're in port or within 3 nautical miles of the shoreline, your taxes on your drinks and things you purchase are going to be added to your bill. It is not part of your prepaid gratuities, which is super important to understand.
Right. So basically, what we're talking about is maybe like a 37 cent, 15 cent. It depends on what you're purchasing for your drinks, but even though you have the beverage package, the taxes when you are in port or outside of or inside, I should say, of that 3 mile range, you are going to have to pay a little bit of that tax on that drink itself.
Yeah, so don't let your clients get caught off guard. Make sure you let them know that. Again, 38 cents, 68 cents. But if they don't get off the ship one day in port and they're just hanging out, it could add up to a few dollars.
Yeah, a few bucks. I mean, nothing too crazy, but that is something that, is a little bit more unique about this ship. But also, too, on Norwegian product, we experienced on the Escape as well. We were in New York City. Before the ship left, there was a small little tax as well that was added on to the beverages.
Yes.
But as you said, no casino.
Casino.
But there is bingo, because later on in the video we're talking about, we didn't see bingo yet. There is bingo.
There's glow bingo. It's not a gambling bingo. It's just for fun. But they did have one night of bingo.
Right. This is a different product, but I mean, also too, we're just quickly kind of in our intro here talking about the ship built in 2005. You will see that it is an older type of ship, and I say older, not in a bad way, but older as in it's more that traditional style of cruising, where you're going to be able to see the way that cruising is built for today. You see this more of this traditional style, of this cruise ship, where you're not going to have a problem like going through the front and the back of the ship. You're going to go through lounges. You have an atrium,
right.
Like they used to have like the Carnival Fantasy Class ship days, and even the Sovereign Class from Royal Caribbean and everything. Norwegian here on this ship, the way it's designed, it is like that older class. The rooms are a little bit different too. Again, not in a bad way, but it is, you will notice your balcony cabins are a little bit smaller, but the hallways are very
huge.
wide. So you will notice some of those things in there. We'll take you through each different types of stateroom, from studios to insides to, did we go in an ocean view room?
We did go in an ocean
view room, and then of course balconies, and then we have quite a few different suites. They're not the same standard typical suites that you would see like, okay, here's your owner suite and there's 15 of them on board. Nope. They're all different, which is really cool.
Yeah, and we do talk a little bit about the fact that it's an older ship, and I know there's a lot of reviews online that speak negatively about the fact that it's older. Yes, it is. I will say they have done a really good job at making sure that the public areas are updated.
Yep.
Your interior ocean view and balcony cabins are a little dated, but again, it's kind of like a floating hotel. But the suites are gorgeous.
Right.
They have done a really good job with the suites in all the public areas of making sure they're modern, they're up to date, they're comfortable, they're clean. So that's really, really good. But most clients are going to be probably in a balcony.
Yeah.
So just understand that room is going to come across a little bit dated, but I have to say it's still not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And also too, like you just said before, this ship is meant for you to get off and explore. And when you get back on, you're supposed to eat and then basically go to sleep so you can recharge for the next day, because there are no sea days. Everything is, that you are on board over here, you are just to really go from one spot to the other and then get off and enjoy the beautiful islands of Hawaii.
And I will say, I sleep really, really well. It's been a little rocky for us in between the islands, but it just rocks me to sleep. I've been doing great sleeping.
Yeah, it is funny because like when you start thinking about it, it's like, okay, you are literally in the middle of nowhere because Hawaii, in the Northern Pacific Ocean, there's really nothing that's going to stop that wind from coming on board when the blow the cruise ship around a little bit. But it really hasn't been so rocky. Like going from New York to Bermuda sometimes,
that can be rough.
A little bit rough, but it's definitely different being out into the Pacific Ocean. But the ship handles it really well, which is great.
Yeah, so I say that we get this party started.
Yes.
Unless you have any other tips that we missed.
We can. Oh, go ahead. What do you got? What do you got?
So you also want to make sure that you are pre-booking everything for your clients. Like you want to make sure they have their dining package, their drink package, everything, because the markup on board this ship once they get on is extraordinary.
Yes.
So do not let your clients get on this ship without already having their dining and their drink package booked, if that's something they're planning on getting, because it is going to be a lot more.
Because I think it was, what do you say, about over $1,000, I think, of a markup. So I mean, and I'm sure that's probably something with U.S. regulation. Probably they have to charge more money.
Correct.
I don't know this for sure, but this is kind of when they were talking to us about this on board earlier. That's what it sounded like. So definitely pre-book, because also too, with restaurants, I think it was like $10, something like that, compared to like $70. So big difference there. So definitely make sure if someone's kind of teetering, I'll just get it on board because it's the same. Like I know other cruise lines will be like, save 30% if you book early or whatever. Then you get on board, and sometimes you can save more money by doing it that way. But this product over here, I think because it is a U.S. flagship, more of a unique, different itinerary that others don't do. You definitely want to make sure that you have your clients pre-book that, because that's going to be uber important, especially because short excursions are pretty expensive over here too.
I was going to say, they're expensive, and remember, you want to let them know, like, don't plan on staying on the ship. You're going to want them to do 1 to 2 excursions per day. So make sure that they have that in their budget, because excursions were $200 to $500.
Yeah.
So depending on what they do. So make sure that they have that in their budget. Don't let them get here and be surprised by that, because Hawaii is expensive. I think we all know, just in general, the state of Hawaii is more expensive. So the excursions are more expensive. So prep them for that.
Exactly. And also too, a very big tip also is to have them book their excursions early, because we noticed when we were looking at different excursions, they were selling out pretty quickly. But also something too, and another tip, Jackie and I did this where we weren't sure, because we wanted to do a helicopter ride, and we weren't sure, do we want to do it with the ship? Do we want to do something, off the ship? And the ship actually at this time is only offering one helicopter tour over Maui. Other than that, they weren't offering it anywhere else. We wanted to do it, actually we're in Kauai right now. We wanted to do it over here, and they gave us...
Because it's the home of Jurassic Park.
Yes, exactly. It is that lush, beautiful island, being the oldest island in the whole chain here. And they gave us tips, said, hey, here are the 2 different companies that you'll have a great experience with. And one of the things they said too is like, they will come into the port to pick you up. Because think about it, sometimes if you're going to go, like for us to go to an airport, how are we going to get to the airport? Right. Are they going to come pick us up, or we get to Uber over to the airport? So the shore excursion team here on board the ship gave us recommendations and told us exactly what they would say, hey, this is what the preferred ones are. So even though it wasn't directly with the cruise line, that was a great thing to have the recommendation, because you want to have that peace of mind to know that, hey, I'm not just going to go to some rando shore excursion company and then all of a sudden this is breaking down, or they can't get us back to the ship in enough time. So that is definitely a tip, that if the things that your clients want to do, if they're booked up already, go to the shore excursion desk and say, hey, this is booked up, or hey, we didn't see this available, what could you suggest to us? It's a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. And they're super kind. I will say the staff has been very nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody on board's been very kind. It is different. If your clients are experienced cruisers, you will notice a different having an American crew. But they've been nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and the thing is too, is that if you do have any issues or anything like that, you always go to guest relations. Yeah. They will take care of something immediately if there is any issues on board.
Because we actually, we're not sugarcoating this. We did have an issue come up.
Yeah.
And we went to guest relations, and it wasn't a very good experience. And Ryan and Jackie were very clear about what happened to them, and they took it very seriously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And we will get into that in another video with because it had to do with the allergies. We wanted to make sure that everything was squared away. And literally from that moment when that happened, everything has been done.
It's been perfect.
The way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess, why don't we stop this part over here with the intro video. There's going to be lots of different videos here. Kind of, we'll go through each deck, showing you what the decks are like. And again, different type of ships. So there's only a handful of decks that actually have all the different, public lounges and public spaces.
Say, I'm loving this smaller cruise ship sailing. Like, we recently did Icon, which is mind-blowing big. So to come from that to this, and the intimacy and the smaller style of the cruise ship, it's really nice.
Yeah, it really is. And it's I said it on one of the other videos of calling something, but I really truly do think that cruising is going to start to kind of come back a little bit more towards ships like this. Maybe they'll have some of those newer things on board where you'll see like, okay, there is a promenade, but it's going to be a smaller class, not the humongous, football field lengths and everything.
Right.
I do think that cruising is starting to kind of come back and trending more so towards bigger ships, but those newer kind of stylings on the insides, the architectural types of styles that you see on the newer ships come onto a smaller ship like this. But I mean, I do love, the
such
feel.
A good feeling.
Yeah, it's really nice. Also, too, I'll mention, because I mentioned the ship was built in 2005. It was last refurbished in 2022. So that, definitely, and like Elizabeth said, we'll show as we're walking through the ship, you'll see like pardon our dust. They are doing, work constantly through. Actually, tomorrow, because this is almost at the end of our cruise, we're doing this intro. Tomorrow, the ship is actually going to go to Pearl Harbor for 2 days to do a quick refurbishment, to be able to go and take care of a couple of things too. So they are constantly updating the ship. I know next year they said that they were looking at possibly doing some more of the hard or soft amenities on board to be able to kind of keep refreshing it. But again, to being built in 2005 and refurbished in 2022,
it's a great ship.
It's a great ship.
It's a really great ship. So, all right, let's get started. We're going to start taking you on some of the other videos, and stick with us because there's a lot to learn.
Absolutely.